I kind of hope that we're inspiring some people that are living in this town and maybe came out not to play music, but to, enjoy the outdoors, to start thinking about, oh yeah, maybe I should start a band, I should start songwriting, I should go to that open mic.
Hello, I'm Emmy DeGrappa. Each week, we bring you stories asking our guests the question, why? We learn about their passion, why they do what they do, why should we care, and what can we learn? What better place to explore the human landscape than from the state known for its incredible landscapes, Wyoming? And what better organization than Wyoming Humanities? Serving our state for over 45 years, we share stories, ideas, and wisdom about the human experience. This is What's Your Why? Today, we are talking to Dusty Nichols and Bo Elledge, and they are the co-creators of the Canyon Kids. And the Canyon Kids were forged on the banks of the Snake River with an unwavering love of the American West, which is why we launch our new podcast this year with their music from out where the West begins. Welcome, Bo and Dusty.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I want to ask first, because I really love the music that you created out where the West begins, and I wanted to know, where did that inspiration come from?
Yeah, why don't you talk about this book of poetry that you found, Bo?
Dusty and I hadn't really been writing very many lyrics for a while, and my mom had given me this book of poems, Best Love Poems of the American People, which is what our sophomore album is entitled. And she gave me this book, I guess, maybe when I was moving out here. Or I think she might have given it to me in 2010, but I didn't really pick it up and go flip through it for a while. It just sort of sat on the bookshelf, and I was flipping through it, and I was like, man, all these are awesome songs. Because that's essentially what songwriting is poetry, kind of. And basically, we just started turning all of those poems into Canyon Kids songs, and that Out Where the West Begins was originally a poem published in 1917 by Arthur Chapman.
Okay.
So we basically just sort of cherry-picked these songs from the best love poems of the American people and made them into our songs, and that was the most popular one. It just hit like 10,000 plays on Spotify.
Oh, did we break 10?
We broke 10K, baby.
Oh, wow. It's
That is excellent.
we're a real band now, I guess.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What was your journey out here, Bo?
Mine sort of started with failing out of college. I
Work for Kanye West.
Yeah. No, yeah, that happened, and I discovered seasonal work. I did a couple summers up on Martha's Vineyard randomly. I didn't know anyone, and I just found the job online. And when I discovered seasonal work, I was just like, I'm going to do this for a couple of years. But I went back, graduated from College of Charleston in South Carolina, and basically just did seasonal work and bounced around a lot to a bunch of cool places, and was in Mammoth, California, working for that ski resort, and I had a friend say, hey, you should come check out Jackson Hole, and April 2011 is when I moved here, and I've been here ever since.
And what do you think your love for the American West is?
I think, being from the Southeast, we don't have the sheer epicness. I mean, we have beaches and mountains, and small towns, and a lot of nice people, but you just don't have the wildlife or the sheer rock faces, and I don't know, as far as the eye can see. And I think the landscapes really are inspiring to the songwriting in a way. It just keeps going back. Like when I write songs, I just am a very visual writer. I feel like, other than the songs that we ripped off from the poets, I think that Dusty's lyrics are inspired by the vastness of the West as well, especially his chord progressions. You can hear it in sort of the open chords he does and stuff. And I think that when you're slated to play all these places around town, I think you're sort of expected to play Western music. You're expected to play like Johnny Cash type stuff. And, Dusty and I sort of grew up on more like Beck and like,
indie rock.
Indie rock, and, we're not really that into, the bluegrass and the Western stuff, but we tend to like make our favorite songs sound like that. And I think that's why we've gotten a good reaction. So we sort of like swing everything that we do.
Yeah. When it comes to playing cover songs in the bars, we kind of have fallen into this habit of taking these songs that we might have grown up with,
like Green Day,
songs that we think that we really love, and we give them like a country Western feel to them, and that's kind of fun, I think, for both us to take a song and sort of make it your own. Is kind of the goal with cover songs, and then also I think it's good for the people watching, because they're hearing Jackson Hole, the place where the cowboys roam, and it's cool for them to hear some Western style music. Yeah.
Dusty, what was your journey out to Jackson and out to Wyoming?
So I had lived in Boston my entire life. I went to school in Boston as well, and a kind of a typical story that a lot of people have out here, where I came out to Jackson to ski. I had gone on a trip here in my college years, and it was one of these epic ski trips where it snowed a foot every day, and it would be bluebird while we were skiing, and it just left a huge impression on the three of us that went. And right after college, we were all just like, "Oh, we're going to Jackson, right?" And it was like very much just understood, like, yes, yeah, we're going out there. And had no musical ambitions when I came out. I probably brought an acoustic guitar with me, but that was it.
Same here.
Yeah, I didn't bring my electric guitar. I didn't bring my amp. I didn't bring anything like that. I didn't even know there was a music scene out here. I came out strictly just to ski, and thought I was going to do it for winter, like so many people come out here doing. And I had been in bands throughout college and high school. It had always been like a pretty big hobby of mine and a big part of my life. And sure enough, after being here for about a year or two, that's when I met Bo, and also met Gabby, who was the third member of this band that we formed called Elk Attack. And right away, we started to get some really good opportunities with that band. And all of a sudden, I was in an indie rock band in Jackson. I did not anticipate it happening at all, but it was going really great. And we ended up going on a tour in the Southeast, which was like a 1 month long tour.
Made a record, bought a van, toured, the whole deal.
Did it all. And unfortunately that band broke up, but Bo and I continued to play music together, and from that band on, things just really started to branch out musically for the both of us. We started forming multiple projects, and getting to know a lot more of the musicians in town, and really getting a feel for the music community here. And it's actually been an amazing place to play music.
And what about the name, the Canyon Kids? Where did that come from?
So Bo and I had a job together in the Snake River Canyon. We worked for a whitewater photo company.
Oh, Snake River Photo.
Yeah. And we had already known each other before that, but we would often be kind of stuck down in the Snake River Canyon together. We would bring guitars, we would play, and we would songwrite. And so the name Canyon Kids was kind of born out of that.
At the time, the bassist and drummer were whitewater guides. So essentially, we would take pictures of them bringing tourists through the whitewater section, and they'd be like, "Hey, you should come to our Canyon Kids show tonight." And so all the core four members, sort of the full band arrangement, we all were just in the whitewater section like all day, every day, and then we'd just play music at night. So
it really was on the banks of the Snake River.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of kids on the river, just Canyon Kids.
Have you traveled throughout Wyoming?
We've played a lot around the whole region. not necessarily as the full band, but I feel like we've tried to spread the Canyon Kids gospel.
Yeah, we get around a little bit. Like Lander, for instance, is kind of our home away from home as far as playing music goes. We just came back from their Lander Live. And we get out there like 2 or 3 times a year, I'd say. We also did Wild Americana with Aaron Davis and Cedar Rose, Screen Door Porch. We put that tour together, so we got to play in like Casper, Wyoming, where else? Cheyenne. We haven't played in Laramie still, I don't think. But
well, we basically kick off every tour in Laramie on Wyoming Public Radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do their morning music program. We've done that a couple times now.
What have you learned about Wyoming in general, in traveling around and meeting other people outside of Jackson?
It's drastically different than this area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is for sure. I think Lander is probably the closest that you get to Jackson. It's sort of like a sister city as far as Wyoming goes. Jackson is it's a very different kind of place compared to the rest of Wyoming. And we definitely like understand that,
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like this super rich place. It has so much natural beauty. The tourism scene is overwhelming. It's this kind of like this microcosm of Wyoming, but it's cool to get out of Jackson and see, how different the rest of Wyoming is. And there's so many cool places as well throughout the state that we've gotten to see, and driving through the state and just seeing all that Wyoming has to offer it's really cool. I think actually one of the funnest times I've had playing music was in Cheyenne.
Yeah, that was bizarre. It was just like that scene in Back to the Future where he's on the hoverboard around that square. Like, that's the square in Cheyenne, I swear. I bet they filmed it there. You go back to like 1950.
Yeah.
It's like all these old cars and stuff too.
It's this old school feel, and we played in this theater. I think it was called the Atlas Theater.
Yeah.
And it was just this super old theater. People actually like bought tickets to the show and came and sat down in their seats and were like, we are here for entertainment, which is like different for us, where like we're playing for like an hour and a half, and like it takes people forever to get in the room, and for the most part it's like kind of like a young partying scene, or we're playing for tourists, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just really it was kind of cool to like be like playing in front of like paying patrons that are sitting in their seats in this old theater. That was really cool. And then also we went like ghost hunting underneath the stage.
So these like catacombs below this, there's that historic hotel too.
Yeah, that hotel was really cool.
The Plains Hotel.
Yeah,
it had like that one of those like really old elevators that you like has the door and everything. And is this gonna make it up to?
We ended up playing music. We ended up playing Rocket Man in the lobby piano in the Plains
at like 2 a.m.
after many Jameson shots.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that was a really fun time. I liked Cheyenne a lot.
That's a good memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your artistic vision for the Canyon Kids now?
So we've made 3 full-length albums with this band, incorporating pretty much every musician in town that we know of. And I feel like we've reached this point where like, man, making albums is really tedious, really expensive, and we've just sort of started recording these, Canyon Kids versions of these other songs. Basically, we're doing our first recorded cover songs. And we've recorded Crosby, Stills, Nash Young, Helplessly Hoping, and Green Day's Basket Case so far. But I think that's going to help, people that haven't heard Canyon Kids, it's going to like ease them into our whole back category of 3 albums that, maybe you haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
So what do you describe, what's your genre of music?
I'd say like Americana, folk.
Folk rock.
Folk rock, yeah.
Indie rock, Americana, whatever you want to go with. But Yeah, it's definitely in this, I would say that like aesthetically, like kind of what we're going for is like, something similar to what My Morning Jacket does or Wilco. These are bands that we grew up listening to and really look up to. We're trying to bring a sound like that to the Wyoming scene, into the Jackson scene. We don't have any plans right now to record another record, although Bo and I are still continuing to do a lot of songwriting, so we usually know where that leads.
we have like 5 new songs right now, so hopefully we do put those down at some point, because I think they're some of the best stuff we've made so far. So hopefully it gets put down at some point. But it is, like I said, it's expensive and tedious and time consuming, and there's a lot of moving parts to making an album, and it's fun.
I love it.
Oh, it's my favorite thing ever. It's just like, it is a huge undertaking. And people don't really realize.
It's like money.
Just make another record. It's like, and you still have to gig to make the money to pay for it, and
either that or you have to find a way to find the funding for it, and we've done that for our past records, and it's kind of hard to keep asking for that funding sometimes, when you've already done it 3 times. So, but maybe it's out there.
If anyone out there wants to fund the next Canyon Kids album, canyonkidsmusic@gmail.com.
Okay, that was a good plug right there. Good job. I would love to know how you take words, create, like what you said, music is like poetry, and hear the music to those words. Like, where does that inspiration come from? Because you can see a lot of words on a piece of paper, but when do you hear the music that kind of matches and merges together?
Right.
I feel like we both have a different process. Maybe say your process and I'll say mine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think what you're hinting at is like, what is the songwriting process for us? And the way that I typically work is my brain hears the music first before it does the words. Like I love just sitting down, playing guitar, and coming up with cool chord progressions that I think sound interesting or unique. And the words usually come after for me. I write the song, I write the music first, and then I'm like, what could this song be about? I'm not I like writing lyrics, but I'm not like a huge lyrical person. I think Bo is like more talented in that arena. So often what will happen is I'll write a chord progression and I'll hand it off to Bo, and I'll be like, hey, do you have any cool words that you think you could put to this? And he usually does. And it sort of works vice versa too, I think, where Bo will have like the loose idea of a song and he'll have a really good idea what the lyrics want to be, and he brings it to me and I'm like, oh, well, actually, like I have some like musical ideas for this. So we'll kind of like puzzle piece the songs together. And I think those end up being our best songs. I'll let you talk about your process too.
100%. Like I agree with Dusty. It's like, I can try and write a song and just be like, all right, this is the exact way I want it to be. I demoed it. This is exactly how I want it to sound. But like, I think, you don't really ever get any good results in music unless you're like just crazy savant like Andrew Bird or something. You'd never get it by yourself. And I think collaboration is the most important thing you can do in music, because teamwork makes the dream work. You can be a savant and still, you got to have somebody to support you, like Jimi Hendrix band. Like he would have been nothing without that awesome bassist and drummer. So I don't know. I think that my process has really improved through working with someone else. Like Dusty said, I usually have a really rudimentary or like simple idea that he brings complexity to, or he has really complex ideas that I sort of simplify.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
it's kind of a give and take.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a good teamwork in that way, that because he usually has way complicated stuff and I usually have way simple stuff, and it's sort of a balance of both when we work together on a song.
And what makes you blood brothers?
No,
You mentioned that.
I think Issa,
in your bios.
Issa, who said that?
Issa wrote our, like blood brothers, like where you cut each other's hands and go like that, like in the movies. I think that's what she was hinting at.
We should probably do that then.
Yeah, we should probably actually do that.
Okay. We could do that right now.
We're bleeding right now.
We're bleeding right now.
Let's do it on the podcast.
My last question for you both is, what do you want to be your inspiration to the younger generation?
Well, that's a good question. So what I've been thinking about lately, for at least just thinking about the music scene in Jackson, I kind of hope that we can be an inspiration for some new bands that are kind of like us to come up just like we did. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen somebody really take a crack at it like we did, and come out of the gates with like some sweet songwriting and ambition in this town. And I know that it's tough. It's hard to get a band together and to get rolling. And but I would just love to. I would love for our band to be like an inspiration to a group of kids that were the age that I was when I moved here. Around like 22,
sort of Screen Door Porch was to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we would see like Screen Door Porch and we're like, being an original songwriter and an original band in this town is like viable. You can really do it. We saw stuff like that and we're like, wow, let's do this too. And looked up to them and looked at their model of touring and everything like that. I kind of hope that we're inspiring, some people that are living in this town and maybe came out not to play music, but to, enjoy the outdoors, to start thinking about, oh yeah, maybe I should start a band. I should start songwriting. I should go to that open mic.
We started playing open mics in farmers markets, the Hootenanny.
That's how we started.
Yeah, I mean, we just came to town and started doing it, like anybody can. Mm-hmm. We're just a couple jabrones.
Okay, what does that mean?
I gotta explain that to the I don't even know if it's worth explaining.
Yeah,
it's not a racial slur, though.
No, it's jabronis, like The Rock would say back in WWF.
Yeah, you know what that actually means?
What?
Do you know what that term means?
No, I don't.
So I looked this up on Wikipedia, sadly.
We say jabronis a lot.
It is his way of saying the word jobber, which is like in the wrestling community, it was like a total diss if you called somebody a jobber, because they were basically just one of those guys that would show up in the ring and get his butt kicked in the ring, and then would be gone. He was the guy that got beat up by the Stars.
Yeah, okay.
Is a jobber. So he would the jobber somehow turned into jabroni, with his Italian way of things.
That's beautiful.
But it is kind of funny to think about. It's because we are kind of like jobbers. Yep. We gig 4 or 5 times a week, and but
usually background music.
Through being a jobber or a jabroni, you actually get really good at your craft. I mean, I think that Bo and I are probably creeping up on 10,000 hours right now. Mm-hmm. That's what the Beatles did. That's how they got so tight as a band. Or whatever you do, once you hit that 10,000 hour benchmark, that's supposedly when you start to become a master at your craft.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a really long-winded way of explaining what a jabroni is.
No, but so educational.
Jabroni is the best diss ever, though.
Even Bo learned something just now.
I did.
So I think that's a great way to end this podcast. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you bet.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us, Amy.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of What's Your Why, a production of Think Why, Wyoming Humanities. This has been executive producer Emmy DeGrappa. Please subscribe and never miss a show. For more information, go to thinkwhy.org.